Diddy.
Puppy. The status of puppy.
What do you make of that situation?
Music executive died yesterday with a value of $850 million at the ripe age of 94, cozy and comfy in his bed. And every dollar of that $850 million was made off the backs of artists who did not make it to live past 50.
So after years of staying quiet about Clive Davis's alleged connection to everything surrounding Diddy, Usher is finally opening up and sharing his side of the story. According to what's being claimed, the reason he stayed silent for so long was because he was worried about possible fallout if he spoke out. That catches a lot of people off guard, especially since not long ago, Usher gave an interview where he still seemed to defend Diddy, even while so many public accusations were making headlines. Some people believe he stayed supportive because Diddy was still backed by powerful people in the music business, and speaking against him could have seriously affected Usher's career. Considering Usher is one of the biggest artists Diddy ever helped mentor, anything he says is bound to get attention. Reports and online speculation claim that some of the difficult experiences Usher has hinted at were part of an industry initiation culture tied to powerful figures. There are also online claims suggesting Justin Bieber became connected to that same circle through Usher, though those claims have never been confirmed. As more people start speaking out, fans are questioning what really happened behind the scenes and how much of the story is still waiting to come out. It's no surprise some fans pointed to that awkward moment when Usher tried to speak with Justin Bieber at Jay-Z and Beyoncé's Oscars after-party, with many wondering if there was more going on behind the scenes. For anyone wondering where this story supposedly began, it goes back to when Usher was just 13 years old. After being introduced to Diddy by L.A. Reid, Diddy became closely involved in helping guide Usher's early career. Looking back, plenty of people have questioned whether that was the right decision. They wonder why such a young artist was placed in that environment, especially with rumors already circulating about the kind of lifestyle and parties associated with Diddy. It's easy to see why those decisions are being discussed today. Usher has said in multiple interviews that his time around Diddy exposed him to a side of the music business he wasn't prepared for at such a young age. During the Confessions era in 2004, he told Rolling Stone that Diddy introduced him to a completely different world of the entertainment industry, including events often referred to as freak-offs. He said, "It's so hot in the industry, man." Those comments have taken on new attention as people revisit older interviews and try to understand what he meant. There was always girls around. You'd open the door and see somebody doing it, or several people in a room. Usher recalled, "You never knew what was going to happen." During his 35th birthday celebration in 2013, Usher reflected on the environment around some of Diddy's parties, saying, "I was introduced to everything by Puff Daddy when I was only 15. Parties, women, X, and drugs. I've had a taste of it, but I never let it take me over." His comments suggested he was exposed to an adult lifestyle at a very young age, and those old statements are now being looked at much more closely as people revisit his past interviews.
1995 meeting in Beverly Hills in the home of Davis, who was responsible for the murder of Whitney Houston. I said it. His days are numbered. And there were rockers there from all over the country. They were invited to the home, along with members of the CIA, FBI, which they didn't understand why the government was there, including many directors and CEOs of the private prisons throughout the United States. Whereas
just as Usher has indicated he wouldn't want his own children in that kind of environment, reports say his mother, Janetta Patton, was deeply concerned when she learned about the situations and influences surrounding her son's early career. According to claims made by Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, Usher's time around Diddy involved far more than just attending those controversial parties. Gene Deal has made serious allegations, claiming Usher went through deeply troubling experiences while under Diddy's influence. Those claims have received significant attention, but they have not been proven in court. Following that period, Usher's mother, Janetta Patton, reportedly removed him from Diddy's circle and placed him under the guidance of Jermaine Dupri. Dupri later became an important mentor in Usher's career and helped shape his breakthrough second album, My Way. That move is often seen as a major turning point in Usher's journey. This is where the story becomes even more controversial. According to recent reports and online speculation, some people have claimed that the behavior being alleged was part of a larger culture within parts of the music industry, with newcomers supposedly facing unhealthy pressure or difficult situations as a form of initiation. These claims remain disputed and unverified. Diddy and Clive Davis became associated through the music business during the 1990s as Bad Boy Records rose to prominence with artists including the Notorious B.I.G., Faith Evans, Mace, and several other artists were part of Bad Boy's incredible rise. But according to claims made over the years, some people believe there was much more happening behind the scenes than the public ever knew. Suge Knight has publicly shared a series of controversial allegations about Diddy's early years in the industry. He claimed there was an alleged egg test, which he described as part of a supposed initiation process used by powerful figures. Those allegations have never been verified, but they continue to be discussed whenever conversations about the music industry's hidden culture come up. Suge also claimed Diddy later repeated similar patterns with others after gaining influence, though those claims remain disputed. According to those same allegations, the so-called egg test was described as a way of proving someone had gone through the alleged initiation process. The stories surrounding it have circulated for years, but no reliable evidence has confirmed they actually happened. Even so, they continue to fuel debate about what may have taken place behind closed doors. Another claim that has surfaced is that some artists were introduced to heavy partying, alcohol, and illegal substances early in their careers. Critics argue that once people became caught up in that lifestyle, their judgment could be affected, leading to poor decisions and unhealthy environments. Those claims remain the subject of ongoing public discussion and speculation.
Now, I made it no secret that I just thought it was in poor taste for you to continue with the pre-Grammy party when Whitney's body was still upstairs in the hotel room. Remember, Whitney passed away the same day as annual party.
Suge Knight also claimed that Diddy introduced people around him to alcohol, illegal substances, and a fast-paced party lifestyle. According to Suge, he believed those kinds of environments were sometimes used to influence or control people. Those are his personal allegations, and they have not been proven. He also alleged that when he first met Usher, people connected to Diddy warned him not to get too close because of Diddy's relationship with the singer. Suge went on to repeat stories about a supposed egg test and other alleged initiation practices within parts of the entertainment industry. Those claims have circulated for years, but no reliable evidence has confirmed them, and they remain heavily disputed. Whether those stories are true or not, they have become part of the wider public conversation about power, influence, and the pressures some artists say they experience behind the scenes in the music business. Some people believe that harmful behavior can sometimes be part of a cycle where people who went through difficult experiences may later repeat unhealthy patterns. That's one perspective that has been discussed as these allegations continue to make headlines. There have also been reports citing an unnamed source who claimed Clive Davis was under intense pressure and worried that old stories involving Diddy might receive renewed attention after Diddy's legal troubles. Those claims have not been independently verified. There's also been renewed discussion about how Justin Bieber first crossed paths with Diddy. After Scooter Braun discovered Justin on YouTube, he introduced him to Usher, who signed Justin to RBMG Records. Through Usher, Justin later met Diddy, a connection that has been widely talked about ever since. Some online commentators now speculate that Usher's decisions may have been influenced by pressure from powerful people in the industry, while others strongly disagree with that idea. Those claims remain unproven. What is clear is that many fans have looked back at Justin's early career and questioned whether he was exposed to an adult entertainment world at far too young an age, including a heavy party lifestyle and unhealthy influences that may have affected him. Right now, it's unclear why Justin Bieber eventually stopped spending time around Diddy. Over the years, countless rumors have circulated online about what may have happened, but none of those claims have been proven. Social media has connected Justin's name to several celebrities, including The Game and Odell Beckham Jr., though there is no verified evidence supporting those allegations. Much of that speculation grew after a few old videos went viral. One clip was widely interpreted by viewers as showing an awkward interaction between Justin and Odell Beckham Jr. at a party, while another showed Diddy and The Game handing Justin drinks during an event when some viewers felt he looked uncomfortable. People online shared the footage with captions suggesting something serious had happened, but those interpretations remain speculation rather than established fact.
Why did you go on and have the party? Just asking.
Well, you're a very small minority. Because if you knew Whitney better, you know she was not there to perform.
Yeah.
This was her favorite night of the year. She came out every year. This party was so part of her.
So you're just saying.
And so that the family, we spoke to representatives of Pat, who was a manager, and Gary, who was her brother.
Her body was still upstairs.
If anyone has first-hand knowledge of what life was really like around Diddy during those years, many believe Usher could provide important insight. Some people have also questioned why he's speaking more openly now instead of years ago. Following Clive Davis's passing, others have speculated that more people in the music industry may feel comfortable sharing their own experiences or perspectives. Whether that happens remains to be seen, but the conversation surrounding that era continues to grow. As more old interviews and archive clips resurfaced, fans started comparing what different people had said over the years, looking for details they might have overlooked before. Comments that once seemed ordinary were suddenly being analyzed from a completely different angle, with viewers trying to piece together a timeline of events. At the same time, it's important to separate confirmed facts from online speculation. Social media has been flooded with theories, but many of the biggest claims being shared have never been verified. That hasn't stopped people from revisiting past interviews with Usher, Diddy, and others, searching for answers hidden in plain sight. One interview that keeps getting brought up is when Usher was asked whether he would ever let his own children spend time in the same kind of environment he experienced as a young artist. His response immediately caught people's attention because it suggested his early years in the music business left a lasting impression. Looking back now, many fans see those comments in a very different light, and they have become one of the most talked about moments whenever his past is discussed. That interview has led many viewers to revisit another chapter of Usher's career. Over the years, he's acknowledged that entering the music business at such a young age exposed him to situations that were far beyond what most teenagers would normally experience. Those reflections have become a key part of the public discussion surrounding his early career. At the same time, many of the more dramatic stories circulating online go well beyond what Usher himself has publicly said. Rumors, anonymous claims, and edited clips often get repeated as if they're established facts, even when they haven't been independently confirmed. That's why it's important to distinguish between first-hand interviews and internet speculation. What is publicly documented is that Usher eventually built his own successful career, became a mentor to younger artists, and remained one of the biggest names in music. As people continue revisiting his older interviews, they're paying closer attention to how he described the pressures of the entertainment industry, the people who influenced his career, and the lessons he appears to have taken from those early experiences, setting up another important piece of the story. As people dug deeper into Usher's past interviews, another pattern started standing out. In several conversations over the years, he hinted that success in the music business came with enormous pressure, and that not everything happening behind the scenes matched the glamorous image fans saw on stage. Those remarks are now being revisited much more carefully.
I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at.
14 years old. You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy camp?
Former industry insiders have also made a wide range of claims about how young artists were introduced to the business. While many of those stories remain unverified, they fueled ongoing debates about the influence powerful executives, managers, and mentors can have over rising talent. It's one reason so many old interviews are suddenly getting a second look. For many fans, the biggest question isn't just what happened years ago, it's who knew what was going on at the time. Some believe warning signs were overlooked, while others argue there's simply not enough verified information to reach those conclusions. That's why every archived interview, public statement, and behind-the-scenes story continues to be examined as people try to understand how those early relationships shaped the careers that followed. As more people revisited the timeline, attention also shifted to the culture of the music industry itself, rather than focusing only on one person. Former artists, producers, and executives have spoken over the years about the intense pressure that can come with chasing success, describing an environment where young performers often had to grow up much faster than expected. A wider conversation has encouraged fans to compare different interviews from different eras. Some artists have described feeling overwhelmed by the demands of fame, while others have said they had positive experiences with the same industry figures. Those different perspectives show just how complicated these stories can be, and why it's important not to treat every online rumor as a confirmed fact. At the center of it all, Usher's older comments continue to draw attention because they offer a first-hand look at how he viewed his early years in the business. While many internet theories go far beyond anything he has publicly stated, his own interviews have become a starting point for people trying to understand the environment that shaped his career and the choices he made as he moved forward. As the story continued to unfold, public attention shifted toward the growing number of interviews, court filings, and official statements connected to the case. Instead of relying on internet rumors, many people began comparing what had been said in verified public records with comments made in older interviews by artists who had worked in the same circles. Usher's past interviews also received renewed attention, particularly those in which he reflected on entering the music industry at a young age. While he has spoken about being exposed to an adult environment early in his career, many of the more sensational claims circulating online go far beyond anything he has personally confirmed. That's why separating first-hand accounts from speculation is essential when looking back at these events.
You know, Puff sent this little kid to the hospital. How he sent him to the hospital? Man, nigga was bleeding from the...
At the same time, the broader discussion has expanded beyond any one individual. Former artists and industry professionals have continued talking about the pressures of fame, the influence of powerful executives, and the challenges young performers can face while building a career. Those conversations have encouraged people to take another look at how the entertainment business has changed over the years, setting up the next chapter of the story. With so much attention focused on the biggest headlines, another question started coming up. How much of what people believe is based on verified information, and how much has been shaped by years of internet speculation? That's become one of the biggest challenges in separating fact from fiction. As journalists, fans, and industry observers revisited older interviews, many noticed that the entertainment business has changed dramatically over the past few decades. Conversations that might have stayed behind closed doors years ago are now examined much more closely, and public figures often face renewed scrutiny when past comments resurface. For artists who enter the industry at a young age, those early experiences continue to be viewed through a modern lens. Many have spoken about the pressure of growing up in the spotlight, balancing demanding careers with personal development, and learning to navigate an industry filled with powerful personalities. Those first-hand accounts have helped paint a broader picture of what life was like behind the scenes, leading into the next part of the story. As more records, interviews, and public statements were reviewed, it became clear that the story wasn't just about one artist or one moment in time. It also raised bigger questions about how young performers are introduced to the entertainment business and the kind of guidance they receive early in their careers. Several artists from different generations have spoken publicly about the intense pressure that comes with fame, describing demanding schedules, constant public attention, and the challenge of growing up while millions of people are watching. Although every experience is different, those accounts have added important context to the broader discussion surrounding the music industry. For many observers, the focus has gradually shifted toward accountability and transparency. Rather than relying on rumors, they're looking at documented interviews, official records, and first-hand statements to better understand what can actually be confirmed. Those pieces continue to shape the timeline, with each verified detail adding another layer to the story as it moves into the next chapter. By this point, the spotlight had expanded far beyond any single headline. Reporters, longtime fans, and music historians were revisiting decades of interviews, business deals, and public appearances to better understand how some of the industry's biggest careers developed. Instead of focusing on viral posts, many began comparing older statements with information that could actually be verified.
As soon as you turn 16, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna let you rock this every time you come in LA. Yeah, this gonna be yours. So tell you, you're 18, you get the house, you get the mansion. Okay.
Another part of the discussion centered on mentorship. Throughout music history, experienced artists have helped launch new talent, but those relationships can also bring enormous pressure and expectations. That's why many people are now taking a closer look at how young performers were guided, who influenced their decisions, and what support systems were available as their careers grew. At the same time, legal proceedings, official documents, and first-hand interviews remain the strongest sources for understanding what can be confirmed. As more verified information becomes public, it continues to fill in parts of the timeline that had previously been based on assumption, setting up the next stage of the story. Looking back, one thing stands out more than anything else. The music industry has gone through major changes over the years, especially when it comes to how young artists are supported and protected as they build their careers. Practices that once received little public attention are now being examined much more closely. As more interviews have resurfaced, many artists have reflected on the challenges of finding the right balance between opportunity and pressure. Some have described positive mentorship that helped shape their success, while others have spoken about the difficulties of navigating an industry filled with powerful personalities and constant public scrutiny. Those first-hand accounts provide valuable context without relying on speculation. For now, many of the biggest questions can only be answered through verified records, official proceedings, and statements from the people directly involved. As those sources continue to emerge, they help separate documented facts from internet rumors and provide a clearer picture of how these events unfolded, with the next part exploring another key piece of that timeline. Another detail that often gets overlooked is how quickly public opinion can change when older interviews resurface. Comments that received little attention years ago are now being viewed alongside more recent reporting, leading many people to re-examine the timeline with fresh eyes. That process has encouraged a closer look at what was actually said, when it was said, and how those statements fit into the bigger picture. At the same time, entertainment journalists have emphasized the importance of relying on primary sources. Court records, verified interviews, and official statements provide a much stronger foundation than viral clips or anonymous online posts. While social media can draw attention to a story, it doesn't always provide the full context behind a headline. As investigators, reporters, and the public continue reviewing available information, the focus remains on separating documented facts from speculation. That approach has helped build a clearer understanding of the industry's culture, the pressures surrounding major artists, and the events that can be supported by evidence, leading into the next chapter of the timeline.
You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, partners and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But you never really got my number, so.
Correct. Okay. Yeah.
But at this stage, the discussion had become much broader than any one interview or headline. Industry veterans, journalists, and longtime fans were all revisiting the same timeline from different perspectives, comparing public statements with documented events instead of relying on rumors alone. One topic that kept resurfacing was how much the music business has evolved over the years. Expectations around artist management, workplace standards, and the treatment of young performers have changed significantly. Practices that once received little public attention are now examined far more closely, and major companies are under greater pressure to promote accountability and transparency. Even with that shift, many questions remain unanswered because not every claim can be supported by evidence. That's why interviews from the people directly involved, official records, and verified reporting continue to play such an important role. Those sources help build a clearer picture of the timeline while leaving room for new information to emerge as the story continues. As the timeline became clearer, another important point started to emerge. Public attention wasn't just focused on individual personalities anymore. It had shifted toward the systems that shaped the entertainment industry and the way young talent was introduced to that world. That broader perspective has encouraged more careful discussions about mentorship, responsibility, and the importance of professional safeguards. Industry analysts have also pointed out that today's audiences expect much more transparency than they did in previous decades. Archived interviews, business records, and verified public statements are now easier to access, allowing people to compare earlier accounts with newer developments instead of relying on isolated clips or social media posts. That has changed the way many long-running stories are examined. Even so, not every question has a clear answer. Some events are well documented, while others remain the subject of speculation or conflicting recollections. For that reason, the strongest conclusions continue to come from first-hand interviews, official records, and information that can be independently verified, laying the groundwork for the next part of the timeline. Some online commentators believe that powerful figures in the music industry helped create a culture that placed young artists in difficult situations, and they argue that those patterns may have continued across generations. However, many of the specific accusations shared online remain unproven, and opinions on the topic vary widely. One person commented, "The music industry failed a lot of artists, and powerful people were rarely questioned." Another wrote, "If mistakes were made behind the scenes, everyone involved should be held accountable based on facts and evidence." Reactions like these show just how divided public opinion has become as people revisit old interviews, public records, and statements from those who were part of that era. Now I want to hear what you think. Do you believe the music industry has changed enough to better protect young artists today? And do you think more people will eventually share their own experiences about what life was really like behind the scenes? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who loves music industry stories. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.